Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video for the channel. I hope you're doing well and welcome to another episode of the Versus series, a series where I take your favorite artist, your favorite songs and favorite albums and face them off against each other. Today is probably the worst episode of the series. I know that that's not a good promotion for me, but the thing is that we're talking about the same artist and we're facing off the old version and the new version of this artist, and it's not an idea that I love. No, I'm pretty sure you've seen the thumbnail already. You know what we're talking about him. It's only natural that this question kind of, it's out there because Kanye himself has, played with this concept of old and new Kanye in the song I Love Kanye, where it's basically a fucking meme about how everyone hates new Kanye and everyone loves the old Kanye. So I thought that it would be fun, since this is Kanye weekend, given the fact that he has been saying a bunch of shit lately that does not make sense.
Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
To make a versus series on Kanye, comparing old Kanye to new Kanye, who's better, we're gonna look at different things like songs, discography, influence, popularity, and based on that, we'll make the decision which Kanye is better. Before we get into the video, guys, remember this is only my personal opinion, my personal take on different things. So if you have your own, leave it down below in the comments and I'll make sure to check it out. Take advantage of the fact that no one really is watching my videos yet and leave your comment down below. Let me respond to you. What are you waiting for? Go ahead, fuck off. If Kanye does something effectively is make people pick sides, whether you like old Kanye or new Kanye, you cannot like both. You have to pick one of them, and this is like the perfect video to do that. So let's go on. We're talking about popularity first, and the reason why is because every time I do one of these videos, I say it again and again and again. I just don't care how much you're selling. I don't care how many people go to your concerts. I don't care how many times your song is being streamed. To me, if the song is good, I don't really mind the song's popularity, and that boils down to the artists themselves. I don't really care if everyone knows you or not. It's not relevant to me. But, for a lot of people, it seems to be something important, and I can kind of understand why, and it's something that's necessary. So old Kanye versus new Kanye, who's more popular? Even though old Kanye had a massive following, he was like this. He was a hip hop artist, but he was also a pop artist. He was like this crossover between the two. One of the first times that ever happened, and in that sense, he was kind of on top of the world when he released The College Dropout and Late Registration with songs like Gold Digger, Jesus Walks, and Oh Falls Down. He was at the top of the charts, but he was only that popular in the music industry. New Kanye, on the other hand, is basically a religion now. He can go around and say all of these crazy things. I'm not gonna say them in this video because we don't give a fuck. We're here talking about music, but he has been saying some really dark shit, and still, a lot of people just love him. A lot of people just stand by him. Not only, fans, but also artists, people from the game, people that don't have anything to win out of supporting Kanye are still supporting him. He is in every single newspaper. He's all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like every single fucking social media platform is filled with Kanye West. And don't even get me started when, the whole Kim Kardashian thing happened, because that even, that made him even more popular. So pretty much Kanye, whether he is releasing an album, making a tweet, appearing on a newspaper, maybe, I don't know, saying that he's going to run for president, not in 2024, but in 2032. He always seems to be on the news. Everyone, is always talking about him. And it's pretty much obvious that maybe it's kind of a sad thing that such a great genius is known more for his political comments rather than his music. But that's just the way he is, and that counts as being more popular. Everyone knows about Kanye, no matter the part of the world you're in, and that counts. That basically gives new Kanye the win. Lyrics now. Lyrics. This is easy. I'm pretty sure you all know which one I'm gonna say. Old Kanye takes the win in this one. New Kanye, it totally loses this category because new Kanye has some of the most outrageous, fucking pathetic, ridiculous, stupid, meme, provoking, shameless, and eyebrow-raising lyrics, of the rap game. Like, you only have to listen to a great song, a great song like Bound 2 and look at the lyrics and say, what were you trying to do here? Was it supposed to be romantic? Was it supposed to be overly sexual? You know, it's not, it's neither. It seems like some bad poetry from a horny 15-year-old. Or a black skinhead, for example, like I Keep It 300, like the Romans. Like, did you not watch 300, the movie? You had a pretty good clue there that it wasn't the Romans, it was actually the Spartans. Like, for example, that song he released on Kylie Jenner's birthday, like, do you have any sister-in-laws that you want to fuck? I have 4 of them. Jesus fucking Christ, I mean, this guy has no chill. But look, man, this is just me taking the piss. Honestly, I do know that Kanye has some lyrical highlights in his, you know, most recent discography. I'm not saying he doesn't, but it's so far in between this corny-ass, God complex-filled lines that I just don't like. When I listen to a new Kanye album, I'm always, you know, searching for some good beats, great production, some really good ideas, good performances, because his performances are great. But that's it. I'm not really focusing on the lyrics, you know, just no. And even less when he's tackling Christianity and trying to use Christianity to justify his behavior. Instead, old Kanye, it was a lyrical, I'm not gonna say genius, but he was really on some deep shit back in the day, whether it is with funky lines like in the songs All Falls Down, Gold Digger, or maybe some more political subjects like in the track Jesus Walks and Heard Him Say with Adam Levine. Or neither. Sometimes he would just be dropping bars like the track We Major with Nas. That track is amazing. And even his singer-songwriter moments, you know, when he was more singing rather than rapping in 808s, had some pretty good lyrics. For example, Streetlights and Heartless. You know, I'm pretty sure that you all know those songs. Daniel Caesar has a rendition of Streetlights that I definitely do recommend for you to check out. It's a really good cover. Overall, mate, I just think that old Kanye has a better lyrical status than new Kanye. Old Kanye treated himself seriously. He was actually trying to drop some bars instead of just trying to say the most outrageous thing possible. So yeah, pretty much old Kanye takes the win in this one. It's just pretty much obvious. Now let's go with performance. Performance is really important for a rapper, especially for Kanye. You know, Kanye doesn't have the most pleasing voice to the ears. I'm pretty sure that more than, you know, we can all agree on that. But somehow, due to his passionate performances and, you know, good ideas, he has managed to make his voice sound good. He's not the most, you know, technical rapper. You're never gonna listen to Kanye rapping that fast or with a flow that's super complicated, like someone, you know, like Jed or Kendrick Lamar. But he does know how to put on a good performance. And in this one, I think that old Kanye once again takes the win, because new Kanye, you know, he's not that much focused on rapping. He just wants to orchestrate the whole album with a bunch of features and a bunch of, you know, instrumental bridges to craft a great song. And I love that formula. I loved how his music has evolved into something more and more complex and, you know, with a better structure overall. But it's true that this evolution meant that Kanye, you know, performed less and less with every single album. And even when he actually does perform, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that great. You do have some really good moments, like for example, again, Black Skinhead, I love his performance on that track. Or Bound 2, for example, the track Famous, I love his rapping, his flow in that song is amazing. You also have, for example, Off the Grid, I love his verse in that song. But you know, his contribution in terms of performance isn't as relevant in his new discography than what it used to be, because back in the day with old Kanye, you have some of the most passionate and well done performances in his style, with tracks like Jesus Walks, with tracks like We Major, with the tracks like Heard Him Say, with tracks like Hey Mama, wonderful track, Good Morning, Homecoming. You know, he was able to, you know, communicate this energy and this feeling of victory with his performance. And when things got more serious, you know, in tracks that were more sad or tracks that were meant to be more emotional, he knew how to bring it down. And I think that just brings old Kanye above new Kanye. Again, you do have some highlights in new Kanye. You do have some more interesting performances with new Kanye, but like, you know, there's no comparison point. And he just knew how to communicate shit to you. You know, again, I cannot listen to Hey Mama, you know, the track from Late Registration, without tearing up a little bit, because it is an emotional track and Kanye is obviously showing his emotions in that track. And that's something that I cannot hear in new Kanye as much as, I used to. Often the biggest moments in Kanye's new discography is when he orchestrates a moment in the album, like in the track Ghost Town, for example. The chorus in that track is amazing. Or for example, Bound 2, the best thing about the track isn't really Kanye, it's the beat. And that's, that's on Kanye too. I agree with you, but here we're talking about performance, and old Kanye just mopped the floor with new Kanye in terms of performances. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. Well, we're grown men. So, old Kanye takes the win again. Let's just go on with the next one. Influence, another really important category, because influence is the legacy that you left on the music industry even years after you're gone. That's how you're going to be remembered. When tomorrow, 2045, when Kanye is not releasing music anymore and we have some new rapper called Lil Balloon or something and releases some great album, and someone says, hey, actually he took influence from Kanye on this and that song, that's what, keeps you alive. Old Kanye and new Kanye are totally opposites when it comes to influence, because old Kanye is one of the most influential figures in modern hip-hop. Instead, new Kanye, it's kind of like more the type to grab influence from another artist. One of the best examples is Yeezus, the album Yeezus. They released in 2013, an album that obviously grabbed a lot of influence from the industrial and electronic hip-hop scene that was going on with artists like Death Grips. I've said this on another video, the exact same line, but it's just too obvious. Ever since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye stopped being an influence and, started to grab influence from other people. That's the point that I'm making. Because again, you cannot tell me that The Life of Pablo, fucking Ye, Kids See Ghosts, and Donda have influenced anybody. And even when he actually does something new and something unique, adding gospel to hip hop and trying to mix it together in a way that it's like a new genre, no one really copies that. So even when he does something new, as an attempt to create influence, no one really pays attention, because that's something like only Kanye does. Once again, I'm not saying the new Kanye is not original. I'm not saying the new Kanye doesn't do new things. He does, but he does it in the same field or, around the same type of sounds that he already played with. So he's not really doing anything that far off from what he already did. I've said multiple times that both The Life of Pablo and Donda are attempts to recreate My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Old Kanye, on the other hand, with albums like Late Registration, The College Dropout, Graduation, and 808s meant a huge influence, mixing both R&B and hip-hop, and also pop and hip-hop, basically creating the rap-pop genre, or at least the, pop rap as we see it today. 808s is one of the most important records in rap from the 2000s because of what it meant for the 2010s. You can dislike the album, I don't think 808s have aged as well as an album like Graduation or Late Registration. Me personally, I think that the album can be slightly overrated in terms of the quality of, the album itself, but you cannot deny the amount of, people that looked at that album and decided to do something with that sound. A rapper that also sings and sings with melody, not like Tupac back in the day. He was a melodic rapper as well, but Kanye brought it to a new level, to the point where it wasn't really only rap anymore. It wasn't really pop music either. It was something in between that sounded really good and allowed Kanye to be something unique in the rap scene at the moment. So, pretty much I think it's obvious that I'm gonna give the point to old Kanye. New Kanye, I guess he has influenced some people as a celebrity, as this woke celebrity that's trying to make you escape the matrix. You have many of those right now, and Kanye has influenced that. But here we're talking about music, and from the musical point of view, there's no discussion here. Old Kanye wins. And the last category, as you may have guessed, is discography. The most important thing, what an artist needs in order to be good, because maybe your songs aren't that great, maybe you don't have that much influence in the industry, maybe you're not the most popular rapper or artist, but if you have a good discography, I'm in. I'm not gonna, jump into every album in detail because I'm trying to rank Kanye's albums from worst to best. It is a video that if you're seeing this video on Saturday, you probably are. You're gonna have that video on Sunday, so if you wanna watch that video, subscribe to the fucking channel. But pretty much, I think it's just far too obvious that old Kanye takes the win. Because you do have more albums, you do have more interesting albums, you do have more unique albums in new Kanye's discography, you know, with the release of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, with the release of The Life of Pablo, with the release of Ye, with the release of Yeezus and Donda. I think I've mentioned enough albums to have a really solid and consistent discography. One that, you know, depending on the day, I would like to hear even more than old Kanye. But old Kanye does not only have albums that are better, tracks that are better, but overall, they're more important. I mean, I could argue that The College Dropout is better than any other album that Kanye has released. It's my favorite Kanye album, and it's just, you know, it would be enough to kind of give the point to Kanye already. But you also have Late Registration, an amazing album, wonderful record. You also have 808s, you know, released in 2008. Again, what an amazing fucking album. And you have Graduation, an album that maybe for me is not that big of a deal. I do like the album, I do think it's good, but you know, I don't see the hype behind it. But still, you know, I would argue that the album is way more significant and way more important than an album like The Life of Pablo, an album like Donda, and an album like even My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Because remember, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like a statement of Kanye's level of artistry at the moment. It was him saying, I can do this, and you know, this is me at my peak in terms of creativity. But influence-wise, I don't think the album was that big of a deal, and I know you'll try to crucify me for this, but that's just my opinion. You know, instead, Graduation, 808, Late Registration, and The College Dropout are albums that are so important, and you know, I don't know what hip-hop would look like without those albums, and that's something the new Kanye doesn't have. The albums, you know, even though again, I really do like them, they do feel rushed. They do feel bloated. There are a lot of tracks that are unnecessary, and maybe Kanye's new discography, would be even better than Kanye's old discography if it weren't for this unnecessary tracks or this point in the album where it feels like everything was so rushed, especially in the album Donda. But you know, I couldn't even begin to tell you how important old Kanye's discography is, and because of that, I'm gonna give this point to Kanye, which leads me to the conclusion. And that conclusion is that obviously you look at the score, you look at how it's looking right now, and old Kanye takes the win. Old Kanye always takes a win over new Kanye, and if you don't agree, then probably your sister is your mother. Because guys, I mean, come on, I do know that Kanye has been quite an important figure for, you know, the mainstream in the 2010s. But that, you can kind of argue too that it's more due to his constant controversies and his constant behavior, making him a person that it was almost born to be in the spotlight, because he just knows how to keep, people talking about him. Instead, it seems like the only fucking reason that old Kanye stayed relevant throughout, half a decade was because of his music, and only his music. People were talking about his music. People discussed over his music, not over the fact that, if he's actually a Nazi or not, not over the fact that he's going to be a president, or that he put a MAGA hat on, or that he said he was going to kill all Jews, or if he, had beef with Drake, Kid Cudi, and fucking, the entirety of OVO at the time. So yeah, for me, old Kanye wins. You know why? Because old Kanye was actually an artist. Old Kanye was actually a musician. I don't know what the fuck Kanye is now. He seems to be like an entrepreneur, shoe designer, a fucking billionaire that also does rap music, and that's just, that's just sad. Do whatever the fuck you want to do with your life, honestly, but when I'm asked which Kanye is better, I'm always, and because of his music, because of what it meant for music, and because, what it meant for me as a person as well, I'm always going to go for old Kanye, even though, I like new Kanye as well. So old Kanye wins. And that'll be it for today's video, guys. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. Jesus Christ, is this video going to be long? I really hope that you stayed through the whole thing, and I hope that you enjoyed being here with me talking about this guy that we all seem to love and we all seem to hate at the same time. If you have any other video ideas you want me to do, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments, so I'll make sure to check them out. With that being said, once again, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that I can see you guys soon with another video. But until then, bye.